Welcome to the Connectable Podcast.
The Connectable Podcast starts in 3, 2, 1.
That was good. I was waiting for something.
Nope, that's it. It's nothing fancy. We just get this thing going. So what's going on, everybody? We have the host of the Spivey Special Podcast, Zack and Troy Spivey. What's going on, guys?
Thanks for having us on.
We're so excited to be here. If you can't tell.
I would say Troy looks very relaxed. If you guys are watching the video version of this.
Thrilled.
Yeah, he's going to make me tired.
It was a long one at work today. I'm happy to be laying down, that's for sure.
He needs a plate for his nachos, so he's just using his stomach.
Yeah, it's smart.
Hey, you know what? That's okay, because when I was living at home, there would be times where I'd be watching, like Netflix on my phone, and I'd be laying on my bed, and one of my brothers would come in, and they would see me just laying there watching Netflix and having like Sour Patch Kids on my chest, and then I would have all the the sugar on me, and they thought it was the grossest thing. You guys get it though, right? It's like comfortable. It's a perfect
pro move.
Thank you.
I mean, I thought we were a podcast. I know you're trying to turn us on.
I mean, I was confused too, the way you're laying there. I'm not really sure what's going on.
There's a lot of things going on. That's for sure.
Do I need to leave you three alone? Right? Can I dip out?
Maybe Deb should leave, and I'll call my brother. He'd enjoy this too. It could be real. Yeah. Anyways, so you guys may not know this if you've only been listening to the Connectable podcast, but these guys are good podcast buddies of ours. We've had them on our show a couple of times on the Character Combine podcast, and then we've been on their show a couple of times as well. So it's always fun getting together with you guys and just talking some nonsense. It's one of our favorite things. That's why I like having you guys back so much, because we know you're a good time.
It's a lot of pressure, but yes, we are a good time.
Yeah. So we'd like to start off by just letting everybody know how we're connected. And obviously I just said that we've been on each other's podcasts, but Troy, you and I played baseball against each other a couple of times, I think in like youth baseball, and then through high school. I was watching you play. I sat on the bench and I saw you out there on the field, but our teams played against each other. And then just, I think through the years, you umpired a couple of our arena softball games and stuff like that. And we have a lot of mutual connections, whether it be Vance Charvo, Victor Rodriguez, a couple others. So that's pretty much how we're connected. So that's all I've got. I don't know if you have anything to add, Deb, but.
I know them through you. Hey guys.
There we go. We keep it pretty simple. So, that being said, why don't you guys tell us, for anybody who's not familiar with your guys' podcast, what's the podcast about? How did it start? When did it start? And then why did you start a podcast?
Go ahead,
Zach. No, Zach, you go.
No, I said it first.
Dang it! All right, yeah, we've kind of been debating this actually, because we're trying to put some stuff together to get some possible sponsors and just try to build the show. And Zach and I talk to each other all the time. Like, we go, how would you describe our show to other people? We haven't been able to figure it out, but we need to soon. But we're basically just two brothers who love to eat. We've known each other. I've known Zach my whole life. He's older, less attractive, and more obese. Basically, our show is, we talk 90s. We talk about food. We talk about basically anything. Our favorite new segment that we have is called Grab Bag, where we just basically come up with questions where we can make the other ones laugh, like who would win in a cage match between Destiny's Child, Lady Antebellum, and Hanson. Those kind of questions are the ones that we kind of discuss on our show. So, Zach,
very hard-hitting, deep concept. It's very high level concepts that we go for.
Hanson's not going to win that, right?
No, we've already discussed this. Destiny's Child's definitely a favorite there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Wow.
Sure.
That's wrong.
Uh-oh.
We had a full-on discussion on two different podcasts about how Troy's wrong on that one, but
on two different podcasts?
We don't need to get into that. Yeah, we just bring it up every once in a while. Troy uses that as our example of grab bag question. He's wrong. So
We better move on. Starting to get spicy already. So just, bear with me, guys, because we know the answers to some of these questions. But so when did you guys start the podcast?
October 2019. We just did our 69th episode.
Wow. Very nice. Okay. Yeah. Which I told you guys beforehand, that was a fun one. It was actually a guy that I played baseball with. I'll tell you what, now this might sound weird to you guys, but I was actually listening to that podcast while I was running. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it made me hungry. Right.
Can you describe what that means, running?
Yeah. That's what I figured. It's, you move your legs really fast back and forth. That's pretty much it. So, but I'll tell you what, I was getting really hungry on that episode because like you guys said, you guys talk about food and the stuff that Tyler was sharing about his firehouse meals. Like I was starving the entire time.
Yeah, we spent the first like half of our podcast just talking about random foods and what we like about them and organizing it. And then we just kind of ran out of categories of food at some point. So we need to get more people into the show to talk about other foods that they've had. And that's kind of what we've been doing. So we saw Tyler. He said he's been talking about some crazy, awesome firehouse food. And we're like, we need to figure out about this. Let's get him on.
Yeah, we went on a run there where we're making some crazy recipes and making some wild stuff. While we were doing that, Crafty was just sending me random, very inappropriate pictures of some of the food that they were concocting. And so that's kind of where the idea to bring him on the show actually stemmed from a few months back.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny because, the recipe that he shared about the peanut butter and jelly cheeseburger, that's something that I had heard about. My brother actually tried it at a burger place in San Diego. And I'm like, that sounds disgusting. And then I've kind of maintained that position for a while until I heard that podcast. And the way he's like an artist with words. The way he described that sandwich or that burger, I'm like, you know what? That actually may be pretty good. I may have to rethink where my stance is on that burger. What do you think about that, Deb? A grilled cheese, a burger with peanut butter and jelly.
And
I've had a burger with peanut. What?
And bacon too.
I've had a burger with peanut butter on it, not jelly. I don't think it was jelly, but I've had a peanut butter burger in Old Sac. Oh, I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but it's called the Jiffy Burger. Have you guys had it before? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Old Sac. It's really good. I don't think it had jelly on it, but the concept was weird to me, and then someone vouched for it, and I was like, okay, let me try it, and it's actually really good. No jelly, just peanut butter though. I don't know if bacon was on it, but I'm sure that will not hurt if bacon's on it.
Bacon improves everything.
Yeah, basically.
Well, that was one of the recipes that you guys did. One of your first ones, right? Was the bacon wrapped grilled cheese. It looked insane.
There's a reason that we only did 5 of those episodes because I think my heart was going to stop if we did one more week of crazy, outrageous recipes.
Yeah, that sandwich was basically an entire block of cheese in between 2 pieces of bread that was wrapped by a whole.
It was 10 slices of bacon wrapped around a grilled cheese, and instead of we did an entire block of cheese sliced up inside of it, wrapped in bacon.
That's crazy.
Did you give it a name? Did you give the sandwich a name?
I think bacon wrapped grilled cheese. It was very unoriginal.
We're very creative.
We were very tired after eating just half of that.
The thing was, we kept making these crazy recipes and then trying to do our show afterwards. It was a terrible idea. But I would say of all the recipes that we had, I think the Spivadilla was definitely, which is a creative name, was the best one we ate. It was basically a hamburger, but the buns were quesadillas, and it had Zach made a really good guacamole, and I think we threw a little pico in there and all sorts of things, and it was so delicious. And it was even a turkey patty, which normally it wouldn't be that great, but it actually kind of fit with all the different ingredients we threw on her.
It was already kind of messy, so it actually made it a little easier to handle. I think once we reached the French bread that we just like ripped out the middle of it and we stuffed it with like ravioli and bacon and stuff.
That was so good.
All right, we got to stop doing this.
Wait, so did your families eat this stuff too? Like, did you make it for your families?
My wife tried a couple of them. We cooked them at my house. Some of them she didn't want. Some of them we saved and then we had like for dinner.
Okay, which one did she not want?
The one stuffed with ravioli. She's like, I'm not even gonna take a bite of that. I had like peas. What else we put in that?
Peas.
Yeah,
A lot of cheese.
So we hollowed out a French bread, like half loaf. We filled it with chicken, cheese, peas, ravioli, and bacon bits, I want to say.
That does sound like a lot. Yeah, that would be tough to podcast after that mess.
Yeah, there was real no reason to throw all those together, but we just went for it.
Yeah, I wish I had brought some recipes to share with you guys because I feel like I have something. You have one, Deb?
Well, okay, so I don't cook. I assemble. That's what I call it. So I assemble things in the microwave. I assemble things in the oven. I don't cook, but something that I do like to cook, and I don't even think this is cooking. It's still kind of assembling. It's over stovetop. So are you guys pizza fans?
Obviously.
No,
Obviously.
we don't.
Okay.
Just
All
salad.
right. Just salad. And that's what I was thinking. So I just had to ask and double check. But what about scrambled eggs?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Obviously, right? So I don't know if I said this on the show last time, just because I don't know. I feel like this is the only thing I can make. I feel like I mentioned it before. I may not have, but
It was on Combine for sure.
It was?
Yeah, not with these guys, but you have mentioned it before. It sounds good.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
So a great way to get rid of leftover pizza.
What's that?
Yeah,
I'm about to tell you.
No, what's leftover mean?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, well let me start over. A great way to eat pizza is they're like, that's better.
Yeah.
You cut it. How about this? Order extra pizza on purpose and put some in the fridge so that you can do my recipe. So the next day, whatever, you get the pizza, the cold pizza, you cut it up into pieces, you throw it in on a skillet, you let it warm up, let the cheese get all gooey and melty, right? And then you crack some eggs in there, and then you make like an egg scramble with the pizza eggs, and it's amazing.
I'm on board.
It's really good.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna have to learn this leftover thing and try it one time.
Yeah,
It's all about preparation. You just got to plan and prepare. That means you got to order more food ahead of time and just put that aside in the fridge for the next day.
You know, you can see our pictures, right? When we order more food, we eat the more food. So
You're gonna have to have your wives like hide it from you. Then I don't know what to tell you, man. Something like that, because that way you can make it in the morning.
This almost needs to be like a Hello Fresh situation where Deb can just put all this stuff together with her own leftover pizza and send it to you guys. That
I'll
way,
just drop it off to you guys.
Perfect.
There we go.
Okay.
That might be the only way for this to happen. So
Problem solved.
Problem solved. Hey, I mentioned this to you guys on the last podcast that I did with you guys with my brother Jordan, and I've never shared this story with Deb, but I thought of a question to kind of base off of it. And Deb, I'll just give you the quick version of the story. So when I was at Sierra College, I was in the cafeteria and I went to the restroom that was attached to the cafeteria. When I went into the bathroom, I was at a urinal, right? And this dude walks in and he's eating a sandwich. Kind of gross, like not my thing to eat in the bathroom, but he goes to the urinal next to me. And out of the corner of my eye, I see him take the sandwich and put it down on top of the urinal. No napkin, just straight sandwich to the urinal. It's disgusting. So I'm like, okay, this dude's done. Then he takes the sandwich back and takes another bite out of it. So he keeps doing this back and forth thing with the sandwich. It's disgusting. And I couldn't believe my eyes. It's still probably the grossest thing I've ever seen. But that being said, guys, since you guys are food guys, is there any food that you would consider doing that? Like if you saw someone put it down on the urinal and then give it to you, you would still eat it? Like, is there a food that you love that much?
I mean, how tanked am I?
It's a good question. We'll say you're sober. Let's just say, fully aware of what's going on.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything really I would eat that's on top of a urinal like that. It's kind of weird to me.
I agree.
It'd have to be like the best breakfast burrito in the history of breakfast burritos, I think, for me to even ponder it.
Okay. Yeah, I can't. I love like Adalberto's, but I can't even get on board with a 24 that I see that happen to. But yeah, no, I couldn't believe it. It was still the grossest thing I've ever seen. And this guy, he was so happy. Like you could just tell by the way he was walking. He was like, "This is the best day ever." He's got a sandwich. He's going to the bathroom. What else? What else do you need? It was disgusting. What do you think, Deb?
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
It's
That's
super
all I have to
gross.
say.
All right. Well, there we go. So do you guys have any recipes coming up for your podcast? Or because I know you guys kind of have taken a break from that segment with the recipes and all that stuff, but are you guys planning on bringing it back? And if you guys have any, do you guys have any recipes you want to try?
I don't know that we're going to do that, but we're going to start looking for food. We're just going to go to places. We're going to order things from menus that we would never order.
Yeah.
We went to a Mexican restaurant the other night and this dude was eating a fish, like a full fish. I was like, dude, they have burritos here. What are you doing? And he just ate the whole thing. And I was like, I bet that's really good.
Yeah.
So
Yes, sir.
we're just going to do stuff like that.
There you go.
So it's this basically this segment. We're kind of gonna like Saturday Night Live it. It's gonna be like a new segment / skit. And if we really like it, we might actually turn it into a movie / new podcast. But we're gonna call it something like All Around Sacktown. We're just gonna go to different places and like kind of talk to the people like, hey, what's your like go-to thing here? And let us try it. Type of thing. Go to the smaller businesses. We don't go to like the big chains and kind of give some love to the smaller business, smaller owned restaurants and eateries.
That's
kind
awesome.
of just review it. We're only going to give positive reviews. So if it's something we don't like, we just, okay, we just gained a little weight, but we're not going to talk about it on the pod because there's no reason for us to rip any restaurants or eateries.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. I mean, that's kind of the reason we do this podcast too, is to get people more connected to things they may not be aware of. So let us know when you guys do that. We'll have you back on so you can tell us some of your findings.
Well, and our idea too is kind of similar to this. Is like we're going to talk to those. We're going to have some of our guests tell us to go places, and then we're going to have when we go to those places, maybe see if they have any businesses they work with, type of thing, and just see where the spider web takes us. I'm sure it's still BC, but we're halfway there already, so we might as well just make the trip a little quicker.
There you go. Hey, and you're helping people out in the process too, so that's not a bad thing.
Really quick, speaking of restaurants, I don't know, I'm sure I've asked you guys this before. If you guys could open your own restaurant and your own food place, what would it be? Like, what kind of food would it be? What cuisine? What would you call it?
Jack, you can go first.
They're thinking.
I don't know. I don't know that I could cook anything that people would want to buy on a pretty regular basis.
How about you're not the cook? You just say what kind of food you want. Someone else cooks it. Yeah, you're just the owner.
I think I would do like kind of like Benihana, but with like Mexican food. Ooh. I think that would be really cool. You're like everyone's sitting around the table, and then like in the little ketchup squirt bottle, you got tequila as you're going around the table, and you're just making like quesadillas and burritos right there, going pee, 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 and like cutting up making the sauce and everything. I think that would be pretty cool.
That's pretty good. You have your spivadilla too.
Absolutely.
That'd be fantastic. I think I would do like high-end bar food. That's my favorite type of restaurant. So I think that's what I would shoot for. Just like fancy versions of like sliders and nachos and stuff.
Like with
like at a reasonable price.
Yeah. Not at a reasonable price. This is my fictional restaurant. People got to pay for my duck fat nachos.
You got to have, if you do that, you got to have the fancy meat like elk meat or, I don't know, lion's meat or tiger meat or something.
Squirrel.
Giraffe. All the good meats.
The exotic meats.
That's what Zach does though. Like when we go to a place, he's like the bison burger guy. Like he'll go and get whatever animal that like he normally can't eat. That's what Zach will eat. I'm sure he's eating like a chameleon taco or something.
Anytime we go to the state fair, if there's some sort of weird exotic animal, I'm gonna eat it.
What's the strangest thing you've eaten?
I think I've had like alligator and kangaroo and all kinds of weird stuff.
That was just at the petting zoo too.
Kangaroo.
I was gonna say, if you do start this restaurant, Zach, they may not allow you at the Sacramento Zoo anymore. They may like they're gonna have your face like on a like most wanted poster. It's like if you see this man, don't let him in because
All the animals have a backstory, but they're all kind of jerks, so they kind of deserved it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
nice
theme for the
ones fly
restaurant.
around.
yeah, they deserved it. That's awesome.
Kangaroo was kind of a bully.
It's like he kept kicking people. Have you guys seen that? I'm sure you guys have that picture of that just jacked kangaroo.
Yeah, I've seen that, yes.
I love that
Pretty
picture.
good.
It never gets old to me. Have you seen it, Deb? He's just standing there, just yoked out of his mind. And it's like, I don't know if it's a real picture or not. I like to believe it is because it just makes me laugh. But it's also fun. It's not funny, but to me, it's funny when you see someone get kicked by a kangaroo because that's got to feel so bad because those legs are so strong. But I feel like you still see people every once in a while decide to get close to a kangaroo and just takes them out. I don't know. Not my thing. Certain animals, I just feel like you should stay away from. What's like when you how many times have you seen, even recently you saw those guys, I forgot where it was, but him and his son decided to hop in the elephant exhibit. I don't think it was here in the US. I think it was somewhere a different country, but yeah. And then the thing charged at him. It's like, well, yeah, that's what happens. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
They
it's
should
a
take his
wild
kid away.
animal.
Pretty much. Well, yeah, I think the kid was maybe 3 or 4. Like definitely,
Yeah.
it's never a good move, even with a teenager. But with a toddler, it's pretty reckless.
It's never a good idea, no matter what age you're at. That's so dumb.
That's what I'm saying. But especially when you have a kid that's can barely run for themselves. Yeah, it's wild. It was a bad idea. So that being said, if there's any animals that they have to take care of, send them to Zach's fictional restaurant and he'll take care of them for you. He'll add them to the menu. Did you guys watch WrestleMania?
I did, yes.
Yeah. Troy, you?
I didn't make it over there to Zach's.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I told you guys. My brother and I went. I was like 2017. It was a cool event. It was over at Levi Stadium. It was fun. It's a wild crowd. I'd only been to one wrestling event up until that point, and you have some passionate fans that love their wrestling, and that was an interesting environment to be a part of.
And last year was weird because there was no fans. This year was weird because it was in a football stadium. It was at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. There's 25,000 people there, and they filled the rest of the seats for the cameras with cardboard cutouts. So it looked like there was like 80,000 people for like the cameras, but it didn't have the crowd didn't have the feel of a packed stadium. It was kind of weird.
But I'm sure the wrestlers liked even having just a few people there because
they were jacked.
The way they've been wrestling with just the other wrestlers around the ring has got to get old.
Oh, it's got to be so weird. It's got to be so weird.
The audience is like part of the show. They're a character.
Right.
And they just took that away for like a year and a half. So.
Yeah, no, I imagine it would be, it's like speaking to just like 1 or 2 people, like doing some speeches. It's super awkward and no one wants to do that. So it's good that they were able to get some people in there. But I wanted to ask you guys this. So if you guys are professional wrestlers, I want to know what your wrestling names would be, and then what would be the name of your finishing move.
Zach, you want to go first?
I will go first. I put a little bit of thought into it. This was the only question that I prepared for.
Oh, perfect.
My wrestling character name would be Captain Manatee.
Okay.
Obviously.
Okay.
But not like Captain America, but like a airplane captain. I want to have like a little pilot's hat and some aviators, and then like a weird, awkwardly fitting gray like jumpsuit for the manatee part of it.
That's pretty good. Captain Manatee.
Yeah.
What would your finishing move be?
So my heart says flying elbow drop because that's my favorite.
Okay.
But my brain says that's probably a bad idea, and I'm gonna die of CTE when I'm like 45. So probably something dumb like people's elbow or
if you were
something easily repeatable that doesn't actually do any damage, but it's still kind of fun.
There you go.
If you were jumping from the top rope, you'd have to be the last match every night because then that ring is done.
You see Zach go straight through.
I think if I was a wrestler, I would probably be the specimen. I just think that's a perfect name. I kind of be like a laboratory guy / just jacked. I mean, obviously it'd be just a t-shirt I put on, but and I think that my finishing move would be the Bunsen burner, and I would just do like an Indian burn to the guy's arm until he tapped.
Those are two solid moves. I mean, where can you go from there?
Wow.
What would your wrestling name be, and what's your finisher?
I didn't prepare this for myself, but it would have to do something with a mermaid, of course. And then
I thought that was just Ginger Spice. I feel like it's everything, you know, your hand on everything. You want to go with the mermaid? Do you guys think mermaids are real?
No, you're right. It's got to be a Spice Girl.
Mermaids are real. Dinosaurs are not real.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I don't know about the dinosaur thing, but
Yeah.
thank
That's
you, Zach.
not an actual take I have, but there's a guy that plays for the Rams who actually believes that. So
Okay.
Really?
Perfect.
yeah, that's a real person.
Okay. Well, Troy, what about you? While I think of my name, I'm thinking.
I already did mine.
No, our
Our
mermaid.
mermaid-
Oh yeah, sure. Why not? Anything can be real if you think hard enough.
There we go. Hey, you guys got two people on your team, Deb. This is awesome. It's a good
Yes. All right.
Can we go sidebar?
Um,
We asked this question on our show, Deb. You really seem to like the Spice Girls. Okay, you're in a bar. It's a tavern, you know, out by the sea. Okay, and this guy comes in and gives you a treasure map and goes, okay, you can only take one person with you to go find this treasure map, and it has to be one of the Spice Girls. Which one are you taking with you?
It's a good question.
It would. It would have to be, I think, Sporty Spice.
You show your work.
Huh?
You have
You
to
gotta
show
show
your
your
work
work.
always.
I have to show my
Explain
work.
it. You can't just
I know,
say
I'm
Sporty
thinking.
Spice.
Well, I'm thinking between Sporty Spice and Scary Spice. Scary Spice is just, you know, a badass in general.
She's seen some things.
Baby Spice would get distracted easily. Posh Spice wouldn't want to get her nails broken. I don't know, or maybe Ginger Spice. I could be biased though, because Ginger Spice seems to be a badass and a smart person wrapped in one, but I don't know about that either. I'm gonna go with Sporty Spice, because I think if anything, if we have to find something together, then at least we both have the stamina to get there. And if not me, then her, and then I have the brains to figure it out, hopefully. I don't know, or vice versa. I don't know. That's my best bet. It's been a while since I've watched the movie Spice World, so I don't know. I don't remember what their personalities are per se. It's been a while, but I think that's who I would pick. And I'm still thinking of my wrestling name and what my finishing move would be. Well, I need help. So what do you guys think my wrestling name would be and what my finishing move would be? Because I don't watch wrestling a lot. I don't know what options there are.
I think he'd be like someone that just assembles stuff, and then your
The assembler.
yeah, and then your finishing move would be leftover pizza bomb or something.
There you go.
A leftover pizza bomb. He said.
Yeah.
You strike
Alright,
fear
I'll
into
take it.
everybody. Yeah.
All right. We'll go with
Josh,
that.
Josh, do you have a name and a move?
So the name, I was trying to think. So my nickname in high school was Taco, Tako. So it had to be something like that. I don't know. Might be dumb, like Taco Tuesday, something like that. I don't know. Or
Have you watched wrestling? You just say a thing, and that's your personality.
that's a great point. That's a great point. And
The Undertaker exists for like 35 years, and that's the stupidest gimmick ever.
yeah, it's weird
He had
seeing
a
him
lot
do
of different
interviews.
gimmicks, though.
He changed a lot over the years, and it's weird seeing him now when he does, like he did Joe Rogan's podcast, and he's just a normal guy. It's like, oh, this is kind of strange. It's weird hearing his voice for like 3 hours on a podcast. But my move, you know, I was always a big Diamond Dallas Page fan when I was growing up, so it'd probably be like the Diamond
Absolutely.
Cutter or something like that. How about that? I don't, it doesn't relate to tacos, but
The taco cutter.
the taco cutter. There we go. There we go. So, yeah. Would you guys?
And that's your thing for the next 12 years. So
The taco cutter.
yeah.
I'm gonna change my name to that. Change my Instagram handle and all that to the taco cutter. It's like, what does that mean? I have no idea, but that's what it is now.
You have to ask. You can't afford it.
That's exactly it. I like that. Do you guys? How would you guys do as a tag team? You and Troy and Zach.
I would have to start. Troy's the energy guy. I'm just the big guy standing on the side. I just come in for like a quick, like 3 to 4 minutes, throw some clotheslines, maybe do a flying elbow. Then I'm right back out. I gotta go lay on the side for a while. Troy, you're back in.
I absolutely love that because I'd like to be the hype guy. You know, the crowd would just be going nuts, but then I would be the guy that's like on the ground because I'm also tired. I'll be the one like crawling back to the corner, and which is nice is Zach's so big I could just slap anywhere he'd come in. So
I would just pretend to reach my hand out and just like, oh, you almost got it. Oh, you almost got it.
Awesome.
I had to walk down that ramp. I need another 3 minutes on the side here, Troy.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could help you guys out. Maybe we like roll you guys down the ramp. That way you save a little energy. Save it for the match.
Well, we'd have to have like a scooter or a bike as our entrance thing.
Yeah, I think this could work. It's like you have, you know, the ginger mermaid rolling down the specimen to the ring. You know what I mean? I think we have something here. I think this could work. I would never go ahead. Yeah.
If I get the Bunsen burner locked in, you watch out, okay? It's over.
Oh my god.
That's awesome. Sorry, were you gonna say something, Deb?
No. I can't
Okay,
even
never mind.
I can't even think
I looked down for a second. Okay, well, I'm gonna switch it completely. We're gonna be, just so everybody knows, we're all over the place in this one because that's what we felt like doing tonight. So, you know, something I was thinking about, and I sent you guys this question beforehand. You know, when you think about like because you guys do a lot of stuff on your show, right? You look back at the 90s and stuff in your childhood, whether it be food or toys or things at TV shows. So I was thinking, when it comes to toys, obviously we see, like when we were younger, especially, like you would see the commercials for these crazy cool toys that we really wanted. And I can say for myself, a lot of them turned out to be awesome, but there were a couple of times where I would get something and it didn't match the hype. Like the actual product did not match what I thought it would be. So do you guys have a couple of examples of some toys that you feel like fall in that category, Corey, where you're like, dang, this kind of bums me out. I didn't expect it to be like this.
All right, I have 2.
Okay.
The first one is Crossfire, the board game.
That obviously that's the only answer you can really give in this question.
I have another one too, but Crossfire has the best commercial for anything I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
Crossfire.
It's an epic song. They're playing some sort of weird game in like space. They're like on the moon or something, and there's like space there. And it's all action packed, and then you get it, and you're like launching these little marble things with a rubber band, and it breaks after like 30 minutes, and it's the worst experience. All
That's
the
good to
hype
hear.
in the world, and it's the worst.
I never got one, so that's great to hear, because I thought the commercial was dope too, and then now that I hear that, I feel like I probably avoided some pain and agony.
There's no point to the game. There might have been rules, but
Now when you're 8, there ain't no rules.
yeah.
That's a good point.
It's really funny because I've never heard of the game Crossfire until literally a few days ago. I was with my family, my sister's like husband and, you know, her in-laws and my direct family and my brother-in-law. So we were watching home videos back in like 1989, like, and my brother-in-law, before he like paused it because it was like Christmas. He's like, oh my gosh, this was like the best Christmas gift ever. I was so excited. You guys watch how excited I was. And we play it and he got Crossfire, but I think he remembered it differently in his head because the little boy on the like the screen, him when he was little, he just was like, cool. And then that was it.
Oh, no.
It was just really funny. And he's like, wait, I thought I was more excited about it. But anyway, That's the only time. It's really funny that you guys said that because I'm like, what the heck is Crossfire? I've never heard of it. I don't know if it's geared more towards little boys. You know how girls play with like the Barbies and little dolls. I had never heard of Crossfire up until a few days ago.
Go
So
on YouTube and watch the commercial, and you'll be
It is
hyped to
the
buy one
best
right now.
commercial. Yeah, you're gonna be on Amazon, and it's gonna be at your door in 2 days.
and then I'll be disappointed since Zach gave it away.
All
Basically.
right.
Spoiler alert.
The other one is moon shoes. I don't know if you guys had moon shoes.
I didn't have those either, but
The commercial made it seem like you'd be like on the moon. There's no gravity. You could jump super high. They basically made it's like the mob was trying to put a hit out on you. It was like wearing cement blocks on your shoes with like weird rubber bands that weren't balanced right and that would easily snap. And it basically was like, how long can I play with this before I tear my Achilles? And that's basically what moon shoes are.
Oh.
And they were too wide for you to stand as like a little kid too. So it was like awkward just to walk because you couldn't put your feet flat because they were too far apart.
And that's kind of how you walk now, though. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like good practice for you.
See, it was just prep. It was preparing you for
I was
today.
good at it because I just waddle. So
Yeah.
No, you were skinny back then. No skinny Zach.
Yeah. That's funny.
You didn't get stung by bees till you're like 18 or 19.
That's funny. I never had those and I never wanted them either. So again, it sounds like I avoided another good one. What about you, Troy?
Those were both toys our friend got, and we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go over there and play with this. And we're like, oh no, I'm glad we didn't get this.
It's hard. Like we find in like our podcast, since we basically had the same childhood for the most part, a lot of our answers are the same. I would say Crossfire.
Sure.
Our neighbor down the street had it, and then the moon shoes were the two things that I remember.
Okay. What about you, Deb?
You know what? Something that comes to mind is the Easy Bake Oven.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys all know what that is. Yeah. Seems super cool. Obviously, it's a fun thing, you know, when it came out and, you know, when you're a young, you know, girl wanting to bake, whatever. But I even at a young age, I realized as soon as I was like, you know, you put the mix in, you mix it with water, you put it in the little dish, and then you put it in the quote like oven part, you turn it on, from what I remember, and then you take it out. And I don't know if I put this together or if someone mentioned it when I was younger, but I'm like, you put it in the microwave. Like that's all you do. It could just be heated up in the microwave and then made. So why did it have to be this giant thing? Like to me, it just made no sense. And then of course, now that I'm older, I'm like, the Easy Bake Oven is like the biggest scam in the world. You could just put something in the microwave and heat it up for 10 seconds and it does the same thing. So anyway, obviously it's a toy and it's to play with, but I quickly, I don't think I used it for very long because I was annoyed that all it did was do what a microwave does.
We bought one for my daughter Harper because my wife remembered having one and she's like, oh, it was so much fun. Yeah. And then her mom, like what I was getting shipped here like before Christmas, she's like, I don't think you really liked that thing. And then we got it and we got like the dough or the batter, whatever the kit was for like pretzels or something. And like, there's nothing in this that really needs to be cooked. And then you open and put it together and it's basically like a light bulb that's inside of there. It doesn't actually cook it. The dough doesn't have to be cooked and it just doesn't taste very good. And my wife's, oh yeah, I remember this now. I didn't really like this when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. It was very disappointing, but I mean, it was cool in theory, right? Like, oh, it's a little oven. I can make my own things and I don't have to turn on the real oven so I can make it at home when I'm home alone. But yeah, no, it's basically does less than a microwave, what a microwave does. So yeah, Easy Bake Oven for me.
And I feel like a lot of people, I think my sister had one too, and I think she had the same story. Like I don't know if anybody was happy with the Easy Bake Oven.
Yeah. Right. The concept is cool, but
no, the concept's really cool. Like it's all about the commercial, right? Like the commercial makes it look awesome, and then all of a sudden you get it, it's like not so much.
I remember in my head the commercial, and maybe I elaborated this in my own head, but I feel like these little girls made these elaborate, like freaking wedding cakes out of this Easy Bake Oven, like these amazing, like brownies that like, I remember that, oh, I want to do that. And then I got it and I'm like, what is this? what is this? This is like pudding.
That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
The one that I had was, I don't know if it was like a super well-known toy, but I was really into Ninja Turtles when I was younger, and these specific action figures were supposed to, like, each one of them could do like a flip or a cartwheel or a backflip, and so like you were supposed to like bend them, and then you hear like the and then it would do the flip. And supposedly they would land on their feet, but they never did. Like they would just face plant every time. I'm like, what is going on here? And I thought for the longest time I was just like too stupid to figure it out, which, you know, could be possible. But then I found it at my parents' house not too long ago, and I tried it again. Now, again, the same thing. I could just still not be that smart and not be able to figure it out. But like, it's the same thing.
Ninja Turtles are tough.
It is face planted. I'm like, what the heck? You know, no cartwheels, no backflips. They just went and then hit the table. So I remember I was disappointed. So pretty soon I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna treat these like action figures. They don't do anything fancy. They're just there. So do you guys remember my sister had a, what was it called? Was it Skip It?
Oh yeah. I like that. That was, I mean,
it was cool if you had enough space. We had some home videos where people started getting wild, like the adults started trying it, and it just started like flinging around and just flying past kids' heads. Like, it got dangerous. And like, because that end of it's pretty heavy, and if it flies off your foot, you know, it could definitely take someone out. I wasn't that good at it. I wasn't that coordinated.
Is that thing still around? Because some toys are still around, like, you know, like you said, Zach, like the Easy Bake Oven. Like what, like, is this?
I don't know.
You could find a Skip It.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, there's a place. It's a Pez museum in Burlingame, and they have like all these different Pez, you know, dispensers from all you know, over the year and all over the world. But in the back of that little museum, it's really tiny, but in the back they have this like little section that's basically dedicated to toys that were banned or that are no longer made, like lawn darts. I know they have like the safe version of lawn darts now, but the idea of lawn darts is insane, because they had like the original lawn darts at this museum. And it's like this metal, you know, spear at the end of this dart. You just chuck it up in the air, and you try to like land it in like circles, right? But the idea of, you know, somebody just chucking these things up, you know, at a party is terrifying. It seems like a bad idea. But they had a bunch of
I don't know if you heard our episode with our buddy Justin, but over at Zach's house we were all 21. We would play this game called carpet darts, which is very similar. They would put what was it, Zach? It was duct tape in like different squares and circles, and it'd be a point system, and you'd be throwing darts in the house, and it would stick in the carpet, and you get a certain amount of points. That's how many drinks you had to take. So,
okay.
So that kind of reminded me of lawn darts. We played carpet darts.
Yeah, it's something that's probably a little safer.
We had a neighbor that had lawn darts when we were growing up. Eddie had them, but they were like in the garage, and his dad wouldn't let us play with them. They were just like there, and they're like, "You do not touch these," in that big, scary former UFC fighter Eddie Stad voice.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense, because when you see, when you hear about the game, it's like it can't be that dangerous. And when I went to the museum and I actually saw them, it's like, oh yeah, these are just metal balls you're throwing up in the air. Basically, they could take anybody out. But they had some crazy stuff in there, and it was funny, like reading the little, you know, description card next to the toy, because some of the stuff is like, oh, it was like a Cabbage Patch Kid, and they came out with this in, you know, whatever year, and everybody loved it until they realized that one of the selling points was that the mouth would move. And it was, kids were getting their fingers broken because they were putting their fingers in the Cabbage Patch's mouth. It's like, oh, this thing's chomping down on kids' fingers.
There was a doll. I can't remember what it was called. It wasn't a Cabbage Patch Kid, but it was an actual doll where you could like feed her, and like you can actually like, you put a fake piece of food, like a plastic whatever, in her mouth, and she like, it's like a rolly thing in, you know, the doll's mouth, and
sure,
and it goes in her body or whatever, and then you like open up her butt and like you get the food back out, I guess. I don't know, but there were things where little girl's hair was getting caught in the doll, and then the wheels, and like, so like I remember that because I remember my friend having one, and I remember her saying like, yeah, mom said we can't play with this anymore because kids are getting their fingers and their hair caught in it. And and then what did we try to do? Of course, What did we try to do? Get our hair caught in it?
Sure. Why
I think
not?
we're okay. I know. That's what we did. But I can't remember what the doll was called. It wasn't a Cabbage Patch Kid though. I remember.
I do remember that, but
That's
that's
very dangerous.
that's pretty dangerous. Well,
Yeah.
the thing, it turns into a zombie basically. It tries to eat you.
Right.
Like 1 minute you're feeding it, and the next it's trying to, eat your face off.
Yeah.
Not a great thing.
Uh-huh.
We had sock and boppers. I know that wasn't a band toy. I know, I'm sure it seems like a dumb question. You guys had sock and boppers, right?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, we had neighbors that had them, so we would use theirs, but we played with them for a little bit, and then we weren't allowed to have them because if you didn't fill them up all the way or you punched too hard, your fist would go right through it and you just end up punching somebody.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll notice a lot of our stories, our neighbors had the toys and then we would play with them and then we weren't allowed to have them. So that's how a lot of the stories go.
We'd find a way to ruin it for everyone else.
That's funny. I feel like I could just picture your parents looking out the window at your neighbor's house while you guys are playing. It's like, we're definitely not buying that toy. Check that one off the list. Yeah.
Like a trial run.
Pretty much. It's like, yeah, it's like, hey, go play at the neighbor's house, try that toy out, and then give us the report. We'll see how much damage is being done by this thing. So you guys, Zack and Troy, you guys have kids and younger kids. So I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of the new toy commercials now. There's a couple of toys out there that my wife and I will talk about, and we're like, we have no idea why this thing exists or what the point of this toy is. And one of them is, I think it's called the Go-Go Flamingo. Have you guys seen this thing?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, basically, it's this flamingo with a really long neck, and it's sitting on like a play toilet, and you feed it, and it poops. That's all it does. It's like at a certain point, like, what else do? You just keep feeding this thing, and then it poops, and you feed it again, and it poops. Like, I'm like, we're looking at this thing. We hate that commercial so much. Luckily, our daughter is too young to recognize what this is, but that's just my biggest fear is that I'm about to buy some toys that are like this, that serve no purpose and bring no joy to anybody.
Okay, so I'm not a parent, so just keep that in mind. I wonder, is it supposed to like help encourage kids to like potty train, to like go poop on the toilet? Like it's cool for the flamingo to poop on the toilet? I don't know. You guys tell me. Is that a thing?
Maybe they don't say that in the commercial, but yeah, that's a good point. I guess it could be.
I'm sure that was the reason behind making the toy.
Some guy just thought it was really funny.
That's what I'm thinking.
That could be it too.
Some dude was just like laughing hysterically.
Watch this flamingo poop.
All right, guys. So what would be the funniest animal to have on the toilet that you could just feed? Flamingo.
Super long,
the flamingo, of course.
Super long neck flamingo. Yeah. Nailed it.
Hey, those are
going on break.
Yeah. Those are great ideas. It could be a training tool, and it could just be some dude that thought it was hilarious. I still want no part of it, but that makes that makes some sense. Yeah, no, I remember with like going back to the sock and boppers, I remember it was always tough for me to get my hand inside there because it would just get so sticky. So like we would get our hands wet first and then just slide them in there. And then it became a problem because like you guys said, you'd be in the middle of a fight and then your hand would just kind of fly out of it. And then now you're swinging just regular fists. But yeah, it
would either stay inflated and it would just like knock somebody over with like some crazy bouncing force, especially if the person was smaller than you, which happened a lot because I was the oldest kid that we would hang out with. Or you'd punch right through it and you'd hit somebody, and then your little brother would cry inside and you get in trouble.
Yeah.
But you weren't really that big though.
It's bigger than you.
Well, definitely now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you look older than me by like 6 years. It's weird.
That's fine.
Hey, man,
some of us gray and some of us balloon. Two different things.
Hey man, Troy, I'm so surprised. Like I'm really impressed that you haven't fallen asleep on us because you look so comfortable.
Oh, I'm very comfortable.
Yeah. But not even ready to fall asleep. That's good.
No. I gotta watch a couple episodes of Criminal Minds before I can fall asleep.
Cool.
Is that true?
Yeah, my wife and I, we watch Criminal Minds every night. That's what puts me to sleep.
Okay.
I love a good serial killer.
You watch all the documentaries? Like all the documentaries on Netflix and stuff like that?
Absolutely. I listen to a few podcasts, but Crime Junkie's my go-to podcast. So I listen to every Monday.
That's a big one for sure.
Yeah, I like those shows, and I like intent. Like I watched Jessica Jones was not a scary show at all, but like When You Live Alone or whatever, I'd always have to chase those kinds of shows with a comedy after.
The
before
Office or
The
something.
Office.
Yeah.
The Office, yeah. Well, not anymore, unless I get the Peacock thing. So I'm stuck watching Grace and Frankie on Netflix, falling asleep now.
Okay, that makes sense. I like how you said like some comedy, because we all knew it was The Office.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, The Office. It's been a while now. I'm afraid I'm losing my Office touch. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
My chaser right now is Schitt's Creek. I really like that show because
I heard that's really good.
On there.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that one, but I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Zach, have you seen that one?
Yeah, I watched that one. I got Weston's Peacock login, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll start watching The Office again. And I was like, oh, I'll just watch Everybody Loves Raymond and King of Queens instead.
There you go. Those are good choices too.
I love King of Queens.
Like, oh, I guess I'm gonna watch Cheers for the fourth time all the way through.
Yeah.
All 200 episodes.
What my favorite was when the King of Queens and Everybody Loves Raymond would do a crossover every once in a while. Did you guys notice that? Oh,
yeah,
that was my favorite. King
of Queens is a spinoff of Everyone Loves Raymond. They're friends on the show. Everyone Loves Raymond, yeah. Kevin James is on Everyone Loves Raymond.
Oh.
In like season 2 or 3. And it's
right.
a spinoff.
Well, I didn't. Okay. See, I didn't know the timeline of like when the shows were created. I just would watch them both at the same time, and I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, okay, Raymond's on here. Oh, okay. So I didn't know if it was like an at the same time type of thing. Okay, that's interesting. Nice. I learn something every day.
There you go. We don't expect to learn anything from these podcasts that we do, but sometimes you run into one. It works out well. Yeah, no.
We learned what leftovers means. We learned a lot tonight.
Everybody's learning something.
We learned what running was.
We try our best. We don't call ourselves an educational show, but every once in a while, have something to learn on here. I was watching, my wife and I were watching the morning show on Apple TV. And that's weird because it was a good show, but it's a lot more serious. But Steve Carell's in that, and not a good person in that show. And it's the whole time, like my wife was probably sick of me saying it. So I'm like, Michael Scott would never do that. And she just kept looking at me like, you're so dumb. You're so dumb. It's not the same show. But yeah, it's a tough watch when you're a big fan of The Office. And even though he's an amazing actor and all the stuff that he's done, but like that's what I know him from. That's what I love him in. So when you see this particular show, it's like, ooh. It's tough to watch for sure. It's a good show, but it is tough to see him in that role. I also watched Ted Lasso, which I'm not a soccer fan, but that show is awesome. I know Troy's face is like, "What's wrong with you?" Zach, is that yeah?
We're very anti-soccer on our show.
I am too. The only person that's for soccer on this show.
That's one of like 2 hard takes that we have.
I'm with you. And my brother
recommended Moon shows. Salad bad. Soccer bad.
Soccer bad. Watching soccer while you're eating salad, like you're the worst person ever. Yeah, double bad. No, it's a hilarious show. I love it. And like I said, I'm not a soccer fan either, and I don't watch soccer. I don't play soccer, but my brother recommended it to me, and he also doesn't like soccer. I'm like, if this dude's recommending this, then I'm gonna check it out. And he was right. It was hilarious. I don't get the soccer references.
It's on Apple TV then.
On Apple TV, yeah. It's from the same producer or the same creator of Scrubs and Cougar Town. So once I heard that too, I love Scrubs. It's one of my favorite shows. So that got me hooked too. But yeah, so if anybody's looking for TV shows, but I still always go back to The Office. I can't help myself. We talked about The Office last time you guys were on the show, right? Or on our other podcast?
Sure we did.
A little bit.
Yeah, we talked about it on your show for sure.
We did like an all Office episode, I think, when you guys came on. Yeah.
I listened back to that the other day and I realized that one of the questions, I'm like, I misunderstood the question. That was such a dumb answer because I think you guys asked who was the best boss, and I think I thought the question was who did I enjoy the most, and I said D'Angelo Vickers, which is clearly he's the worst answer. I was embarrassed once. Even my brother who listened to the episode is like, "You're a moron." I said, "I know. I wasn't listening. Apparently, I misunderstood the question. You know, you can't win them all.
We don't judge. We kind of just went to the next one. We're like, that was awful.
Well, yeah, it was. I can't defend myself. I just wasn't listening very well. So,
Yeah, those are cringeworthy episodes when he's on there. I don't really care for his character at all.
it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, it's really tough, especially that first one when he's by himself, right? And when Michael Scott finally leaves and he's, has his inner circle. It's tough
I watch
too.
him
I think
fake juggle. That's one of my favorite parts. So
Maybe that's why
For
his
sure.
character was so short-lived.
I think so.
not
Just come through quick and be done with it.
I think he was just a filler.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
For
And he's
sure.
a big name filler, so there you go. That too, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? So we just have one more question for you guys, or maybe a couple. I don't know. We'll see where we go. But where your when you guys started your podcast, like what has been your favorite part of podcasting, and then what's been the most challenging part? Because we always like to know, because we kind of started this podcast thing around the same kind of time you guys did, and so we've had some conversations and we've definitely had some similar challenges. But I would like to hear it from you guys for sure.
I've had a lot of fun just meeting new people and just
Yeah.
kind of getting out of our comfort zone. This is not something that I would ever do. It's something Troy would do, but Troy's not smart enough to put it together. So that's why I'm on the team.
No.
Yeah. Troy
Jack-
Troy needs to talk or he'll explode. And then we were worried about him when he started working at UPS and he's out there by himself all day. And we were worried about him. We just needed to give him an outlet to talk.
There you go.
I think the hardest part is just coming up with new topics and new episodes, because we do it a weekly show as you guys do.
Yeah.
It's hard, and then finding the time, and then like if someone goes on vacation, all this. And then when we started with guests, it's like, okay, Zach knows like 4 people. I know 5. Okay, well, there's 9 episodes. Now what do we do? So we've really started to reach out, like Zach said, and just like we reach out to you guys. We actually today we reached out to this random podcast that we've been friends with on social media, and they're coming on our show next month, type of thing. And it's like we're
Awesome.
starting to build all these relationships in the podcast community with our friends who, like you guys who have a podcast. We have other friends who have podcasts, and just random people get so excited. Just, hey, do you want to be on our podcast? And they're like, what? They come on, they're all nervous, and I think that's my favorite part, is when new people come on the show and just to see how excited they are to join us.
Yeah.
Nice. Same.
Yeah, we've said the exact same thing. It is cool because you do start to see like the circle expand a little bit and get connected to people. And like you said, it is a fun thing seeing how excited people are to hop on the show. We've even had some people that are like, I don't think I'm going to have much to say. And then I don't know if you agree, Deb, but they turn out to be some of the best guests because they're like, it just starts like flowing out of them. It's like they just needed an opportunity to say something, and then they hop on here, and then it's like they just start talking like crazy and saying a lot of great things.
Yeah, it goes
Well,
by
that's kind of like us. We had, our first guest ever was our dad, and we know he likes to talk, and
Yeah.
he would, be really good. But then later we asked our mom to be on, who's a little shyer, not a big public speaker, and she got on and just absolutely crushed the episode. So like you said, it's kind of one of those things, like you don't really know what to expect until you kind of get in the studio, and it's kind of cool to see people, get out of their comfort zone like we do from time to time and
Yeah,
kill it.
for sure. I had a follow-up question to that, but it just went away. I can't remember. So it's too late. It's gone.
D'Angelo Vickers.
Angela, that's not going to help. That's just going to make me. Oh, let me ask you this. I'll put you guys on the best. See, that's on my record forever. That's why I have to go back to this. What was it? The taco splitter. That's what I have to go back to. Like I have to take people's mind off of my horrible answers on your guys' show.
It's a taco cutter.
The taco cutter. Yeah. I'm already messing it up.
Why are
I
you
shouldn't be a
splitting
professional.
the taco? Oh, just killing the shell.
You're right. You know what? I gave bad answers. I'm just going to own up to it. I said D'Angelo Vickers. It was a bad choice. Hey, let me put you guys on the spot. How do our episodes do for you guys? Like when we come on your show, do our episodes do okay, or are they, trash?
I
Like,
mean,
as far as
honestly, like 12th would be a high ranking if we did a bracket, but no, you guys, it's just hard. It's hard to explain. We follow the listens way closer than we should, and
I do too.
We had an issue with a prefix, and I think Zach can explain a little bit better. That's his little genre. That anything that has to do with like a computer, that's Zach's go-to thing.
So we were using Podcorn for a while to get ads for our show, and they put a prefix on your show so that they can like count and track their listens through the site, and it broke. So it showed that no one was listening to the show. Like we were doing pretty good. And then for like 6 months, it was like, dude, this is depressing. No one's listening to the show. And I was like, well, I'm sick of Podcorn. We're not doing it anymore. And I turned it off. And then we got like 168 listens in like an hour. I was like, oh no, it's been broken for 6 months. So yikes.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. So like we'd have an episode, we absolutely crush it. And they go, well, you got 8 listens this week. We're like, all that work. And we were so much higher than that. And then it's like, what is going on?
Wow.
That's the worst feeling. I know when we first started, we were on the Character Combine podcast, we were hosting it on a WordPress website, which turned out to be a horrible idea because the more traction the show got, it kept shutting the site down because it didn't have enough bandwidth. And so we had some really big episodes with big guests, and then all of a sudden you look at the server and it's like, oh yeah, you can't log in. It's like, what? And then so it would just shut everything down. It wouldn't be available. You couldn't download it anywhere, and it sucked. So we had to finally switch over to something else to, so we would never have that issue again. But just, it's the most deflating thing when you see those numbers not go the way you hoped. I feel like that was their nice way of saying our episodes are, I don't know.
No, what I'm saying is you guys came on during that little 6-month thing. So we don't know if you're the one who broke it.
You might have broke our
what
show.
happened.
I think so. Let's just
That
go
might
with
have.
that.
Yeah. We're gonna say we got so many downloads that it broke the machine.
We should have put 2 and 2 together. Deb came on the show, then our show was broken. We should have put that together.
Yep.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Absolutely.
That's why you didn't get the second invite. That's why Jordan.
Your
took your
guys'
spot.
show usually does pretty good. This is the second or third time that we've been together. So
okay.
Nice.
Nice.
The thing is, we just never know. My dad has 0 social presence, and he's our highest listened to show out of anyone. I don't know if it's because he was the first guest, or people want to know like where our weirdness came from or what it was. But the guy who has LinkedIn and that's it, and has like 4 LinkedIn teammates or whatever it's called, that guy gets all these crazy listens. So we never know what. We just kind of throw it out there. Whatever happens.
Yeah. Regardless, it's fun. That's why we do it too. It's just fun to do, even if we don't get that many listens, which sometimes we don't. Especially on this one, it's still fun to do. And like you said before, it's still fun to connect with new people. Okay, so now here's the last question I got for you guys. Something we call the connection suggestion. It's a person, organization, brand, restaurant, pretty much whatever you guys want it to be, but someone that our audience should be aware of, just like we talked about earlier in this episode, just trying to get everybody a little bit more connected, a little bit more aware of different things that are out there. So you guys have a couple of connection suggestions for us?
I've got a couple. I'll start. I know Troy did 0 prep like normal, so I'll go first.
I got tired reading. This was the last question, so I didn't make it there. I didn't know this was on that.
Tired of reading / you can't read.
Yeah.
I should have started that one. That's a good note. I'll make a note of that for other podcast guests. Start with that one.
You got to send Troy pictures.
Yeah. I'm like, why is this dog not going? I don't get it. This is weird.
All right, my first one is Bagel and Bean in Lincoln, California. It is
Okay.
the best bagels that I've had in this area. They're New York style bagels, so they're boiled and they're ginormous. They're the size of like a giant cinnamon roll,
Wow.
which is probably why I like them, but they're super good. They have crazy flavors that you would never think of in a bagel, which I was against until I tried it and I was like, okay, I have to have more of these. So I wrote down the
Also,
list of the ones that they have today, just so that you could see what they are.
Okay.
Plain, everything sesame, onion, salt, normal. Flamin' Hot Cheetos, Fruity Pebbles, Cinnamon Raisin, Blueberry, French Toast Crunch, Jalapeno Cheddar, Pesto, Parmesan. And in their mini bagels, which are basically the size of regular bagels, they have Oreo.
Oh, sounds
Wow.
pretty good.
Also, to piggyback on what Zach's saying, is we follow them on social media on Instagram, and they do a really good job of showing the restaurant, all the different stuff they have with a lot of different videos and things on their social media. So that's definitely one for you to check out and maybe follow.
They just added fancy coffee. We went there for lunch, and their sandwiches are absurd because it's a crazy bagel that you can't eat, and then they stuff it full of bacon and pastrami and all kinds of weird sandwiches, and it's fantastic, and I love it. And it's new, and it opened like during the pandemic, and we wanted to stay here, so please go there and support them. They're awesome.
I'm looking at it right now. It looks delicious.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll follow them for sure.
Yeah.
Bagel and Bean. All right, perfect.
Bagel now.
I know, seriously. All right, Troy, what about you?
Bagel and Bean. They're really good.
They're that good.
Yeah,
It's got to be said twice.
Mhm.
One
You
that
need to
I
check them
always,
out.
one that I always talk about. I'm a director of a nonprofit, the Crystal Rodriguez Memorial Scholarship Fund. We raise money to give college scholarships to those at Casa Roble High School in the name of our dear friend Crystal, who passed away almost 10 years ago now. So we give anywhere from 4 to 10 scholarships a year to seniors over there. We do different fundraisers from we have a crystal ball, which is a dance thing that we haven't been able to do the last couple of years due to COVID. But our big thing is our golf tournament we do. This year will be October 9th at Morton Creek Golf Course. It's our 10th annual golf tournament, and it's going to be popping. So just kind of follow the CRMSF page on social media with upcoming events and all that kind of stuff. And the Spivey Special Podcast was actually a sponsor last year out there. We had our own table. We had some guests and fans making Spivey specials for everyone at the Tee Box. So
nice.
The CRMSF, that's a nonprofit that I'm a director of, and that's my check them out thing.
Perfect. Yeah, no, it's an awesome organization for sure. We don't try not to cross promote too much, but on our Character Combine podcast, we had Victor Rodriguez on. I can't remember what episode that was, but along with checking out the website and social media for them, I would encourage you guys to listen to that episode too, because he really shares the heart behind it and the story behind it. And I think that would be a good thing for everybody to listen to as well, just to get a better idea of kind of how the whole thing came about. So where can they follow you guys?
They can check out our website, SpiveySpecialPodcast.com. We're also on all of the socials at Spivey Special on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok.
I don't think people can handle us on TikTok, though. We haven't done any videos of late, but we reached out to this other podcast we're trying to, talk with, and they go, all right, maybe we could do something together. I follow you guys on TikTok. You guys are hilarious. So check it out.
That's awesome.
If you want to see how to do the Busset Challenge, Zach and I are each on there. We each have our own rendition of it, and it's a good video to watch.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out.
You have TikTok. You gotta be following these guys.
My suggestion would be don't eat first.
And make sure you watch a comedy afterwards to help yourself sleep.
Oh, that's great.
There we go. Well, on that note, Deb, where can they follow us?
You guys can follow us on Twitter at Connectable Pod, Instagram, Connectable Podcast, and we're on Facebook. Did I say those right?
Yep.
And of course, YouTube.
And YouTube. So you guys can watch this as well. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. It was fun as always. And, we'll keep an eye out. Make sure you guys go listen to their podcast. It's awesome. And it's a lot of fun. And that's how I would describe it. You guys were talking earlier, how do we describe this podcast? It's just a lot of fun. Like if you want some like just fun in the middle of your day, whether you're at work or driving, you need to listen to their podcast because it will make you chuckle for sure. It's a good time. So there we go. Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching the show. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure you like it, share it, and hit the subscribe button to get a new episode every week. We'll see you next time on the Connectable Podcast.